Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're hearing my voice, you are in the right place. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Seven of Cups. I feel like this is almost a feeling of being stuck, you know? I feel like you're able to really recognize that something's not worth your effort or your time anymore. You know what I mean? Like you have this ability to see through the facade of things. And I think that this is, you're kind of recognizing now like something in your life like needs to change, needs to go. Sometimes the Seven of Cups is this energy that masquerades as something beautiful and charming and nutritional and nourishing to us, but you can see it for what it really is now. You can see that this is not something that's good for you, right? Sometimes the Seven of Cups is kind of low level like dopamine, you know, the incorrect kind of dopamine where we're just like, it's almost like, I don't know why, but I'm just not motivated to eat a healthy meal, you know, in the evening. Well, I've been snacking all day on junk food, you know. The Seven of Cups is the junk food, yeah, that we sometimes indulge in. It's just that low-level trickle of dopamine that we're kind of chasing as those little rewards throughout the day. You know, what are we doing in our life that we're doing just because it feels good and we're allowing ourselves to just do what feels good in the moment? You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But if it reaches a point where we're saying, you know, I'm kind of sick of it, I'm going to do something else, you know, I want to make some changes. Let's find out what's going on here. There we have the Queen of Cups. So I do feel that there is kind of an emotional reset. There is this drive underneath you that's trying to get out. This devil energy is trying to get up the mountain. We've got the Three of Cups. I think what was at one point very satisfying and very joyful and delightful for you, now starting to feel like it's keeping you stuck. Okay, so, you know, something can change over time that at first it was very nourishing. Now it's feeling like it's kind of keeping you, you know, it's keeping you demotivated. It's hard to be motivated to really accomplish our goals when we're just we're giving ourselves everything that we want during the day, you know. There's the Two of Pentacles, change. And of course, there's the objective Queen of Swords that is getting that bird's eye view and seeing a new way of doing things. We're sort of like, we're lifting ourselves out of the swamp here, and we're seeing things in the right light. Okay, there we have the Seven of Wands. We have a Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, and a Five of Wands. So this is going to be, it is kind of like you pulling yourself out of the quicksand, okay? Pulling yourself out of something that I think is going to very much improve your life. I think that it's opening up a whole like kind of new future for you, okay? But we've got to recognize kind of this water energy that's kind of clustered right here that seems to be an incorrect balancing of the pleasure drive. See, the devil energy is the drive. It's the engine of the car. Right now, the engine has too much fuel in it. You flooded the engine, you know? So there's too much of this water energy, and it's diluting the fuel. It's interfering with the pleasure drive. When we give ourselves too much of what we want all the time, then we don't really have motivation to go and kind of do anything bigger or do anything more, do anything greater. If I'm eating ice cream all day, then for one, the ice cream is going to start to really taste bad. but then I'm also not going to be hungry or motivated to cook a big healthy meal in the end of the day. You see what I mean? And this isn't just about food, although maybe food's part of it. But the devil card is that drive, that engine. So something's interfering with your engine and your motivation, and you're like, well, we see by the end of the reading, you're back here in your Five of Wands energy. You're back here in motivated fight mode, Not competition, not fighting, not friction or aggression or anything like that, but the five-fingered hand. You're out there reaching for life, and you're taking hold of it. You're grabbing life by the horns, and you're doing it. So this is a return of motivation. Because right now I feel like your pleasure drive is getting too much pleasure, too much weight, that it's interfering with your sovereign drive or your ambitious drive. Or it's sometimes called the aggressive drive, but it's the sovereign drive. It's the assertive drive. Yeah. Too much water is interfering with this fire. So we do something with that. With this water, we regulate that water, and then you have a resurgence of the fire. It's very simple. Okay. And it's not easy. That's the problem, right? It seems simple, and it is. It's an Ace of Pentacles. It's a simple step you got to take, but this is in the position of the fear, the worry, the concern. This is that difficult step. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor, infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with our little Tibetan prayer wheel right there on top. What we have is that Seven of Pentacles that popped out. So the Seven of Cups, Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it feels like we're kind of stuck. It feels like the things we're doing just aren't working anymore. I don't have any motivation, and I'm losing losing my speed, losing my oomph, losing my mojo a little bit. But if you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments. As we look around the room here, we do see only the one major, and it's all about the drive. So today's reading, I think, is really going to be about how you bring about your engine back into balance. Right now, the engine's out of balance. Okay? We have the creative drive, we have the pleasure drive, and we have the sovereign or the assertive drive. 3 drives. Okay? And I think what's happening is that your pleasure drive is just getting a little bit too much, pleasure. And so we we dial that back a little bit. We stop giving ourselves, we stop giving that sort of the goat within us, right? Stop giving maybe our animal nature everything that it wants. We learn to delay gratification a little bit. And I'm not always a big fan of that. When I'm hungry, I like to eat. When I'm tired, I like to rest. That's not really what we're talking about. Those are basic needs. The Seven of Cups is the excess. Yeah, the Seven of Cups is the indulgence in those things that I don't really need right now. And in fact, that the more that I indulge in these things, the sort of more sluggish I feel energetically, okay? The Seven of Cups is something that looks shiny, but isn't nourishing to you. It's too much of what once felt very good. Now it doesn't, okay? And so this is, this is the too much indulgence or too much gratification, and too much of the low-level dopamine, food, substances, scrolling, even human interactions, television, like whatever it could be, even sleep, right? It's too much of a good thing, starting now to really make us feel heavy and weighed down and sluggish in our creative energy. Okay, we've been self-soothing, or in a way we've been sabotaging ourselves with too much instant gratification. Well, the world's kind of set up that way, isn't it? Everywhere you go, it's kind of like we're being urged and we're being motivated and we're being rewarded for rewarding ourselves. Now, I'm all about treating ourselves. I'm all about the burrito and the bowl of ice cream in the bathtub. Maybe that's too much if it's all the time, every day. I know that when I used to have ice cream every single day, and after a while it just started to I wouldn't even be enjoying it. Like, why am I having this ice cream? It's become a habit of this kind of gratification, a habit of indulgence. And I was like, I don't enjoy eating ice cream anymore. And that like breaks my heart because I love ice cream. And so I said, well, I'm just going to take a break from it. I'm not going to give it to myself every day, every night at the same time. I can use it as a reward for, a job well done, or at the end of the week, I worked hard this week, I'm going to have a bowl of ice cream. Because otherwise the ice cream itself stops tasting good. Okay? But it's also having that instant reward available is demotivating me from actually working hard. Because then if I sort of set it up for myself that I'm going to work hard and then I'm going to get that ice cream as a reward, that's kind of the right usage of that dopamine, because it gets us motivated. Oh, okay, I got to go work hard again because I want more ice cream, But the Seven of Cups is just, it's too much. It's too much stuff that's just readily available. Okay? And it's become kind of a habit. And this is this is that overload of that dopamine to where it just doesn't feel good anymore. And it's not motivating us, and it's just kind of like it's hindering that devil energy that you have underneath. Yeah. We also have the Queen of Cups. And this is the difficult kind of task for you, the homework for you, right? Because this is emotional wisdom. This is our ability to kind of lift the veil and see what we've been doing with our emotions, or our kind of internal reward system, that the feel-good chemicals, And I think that we've lost the connection between working hard and playing hard. Now we're just kind of indulging in everything, giving myself everything I want whenever I want it, whether it's food or people or interaction or scrolling or stimulation or whatever it is, right? We've got to lift the veil, and we've really got to do some soul searching and see. And we all do. I do too. And this isn't to say that we all need to be ascetics, or be kind of denying ourselves all of the good stuff. No, I feel like a reward system is absolutely necessary. The Queen of Cups is saying that we've got to love ourselves. We've got to have this radical self-love. Sometimes radical self-love is tough love. It's saying, I can't give myself everything I want, because that's not helping me to get to my goals. That's not helping me to climb the mountain of my life and manifest my dream. So what does self-care really mean to you right now? What does radical self-love look like for you? Is it ice cream every night just because? Just because I can, because I want it, Anyway, so I feel that you're kind of holding space for your own feelings now, and you're able to really look at them. And at first, it's going to feel like we're denying ourselves. Like, God, I want that. I'm craving that ice cream, But we're realizing that we're doing something very important for ourselves. We need to have this self-empathy. We need to have this self-love and this self-acceptance. So we do need to treat ourselves. We need the reward, but we have to have kind of a purified reward system for ourselves right now. This is water that's just gotten too muddy, too swampy, I don't know. You got to clean things up a little bit. Got to purify that water. Okay? And so you're holding space for yourself and for your emotions, and you're able to empathize with yourself and also set some boundaries for yourself. You listen to what's going on here and find out maybe if there's a deeper reason. Is there a deeper force kind of at work here? Is there a deeper reason why we might be using the Seven of Cups as self-medicating or escaping from something? Are we afraid of something, and that's why we're just sort of doing that? Okay, I'm just not saying that there is. It's not in the cards, but it's something that the Queen of Cups has to ask. And the Queen of Cups is really asking you, like, what's going to benefit your future self? How do you make your future self happy? Okay. What would make our future selves happy? Well, I know it would make me happy. I know it would make me happy right now. That's a bowl of ice cream. What about my future self? What about Paul tomorrow morning after the bowl of ice cream? I might have a little tummy ache, right? What about long-term Paul? No, I think having that instant gratification is not going to make future Paul happy. Future Paul may not feel too healthy, may feel that ice cream has lost its luster, Those are bad things, right? So we're treating ourselves with love and respect here in this way. And again, I'm all for rewards. We need rewards because they help to keep us motivated. What happens when those rewards are too much, too frequently, that we're not motivated anymore? It's kind of defeating the purpose, right? If reward is supposed to motivate us, well, right now it's not, then we need to change something. And the Two of Pentacles is that card of change. We need to alter something that we've been doing. We need to find a different way to go about this reward system, okay? And so I feel like we're kind of like we're getting into a new rhythm. We're regaining our balance because that 7 is off balance. The 7 is a little out of whack. The 2 is you trying to get that center of gravity back, trying to get back like in whack, And so we're kind of juggling things. We're rearranging things. We're tripping ourselves up now. We're shocking our system back to life because now like your dopamine system has gotten too used to having the ice cream every day at, let's say 8 o'clock at night after my daughter goes to bed. Every night at the same time, and it's expecting that. And then once we break that habit, it sort of shocks the system a little bit, and then things get a little bit haywire. Well, that's good though, because that's resetting the dopamine system. Now that we've broken the pattern in some way, now when I do have the ice cream, it's going to feel really good, especially if mentally or energetically I'm able to connect it with some effort. Because that's what the reward, the brain's reward system is supposed to be about. You're supposed to struggle and work hard and strive for something, and then you get the thing. And that feels really, really good, and it's rewarding, and then you eat the food or whatever, and you consume it becomes part of you, and it's, you got that feeling of contentment. And then you start getting hungry again. Then you know what? I know how to get food, and we get motivated to go do it again because we know we're going to get that reward. And this now is kind of resetting that whole circuit for you because I think something has gotten out of balance. And again, it doesn't have to be food. I'm just using ice cream because that's my struggle, okay? But it could be anything. It could be scrolling on our phone. It could be sleep. It could be, movies. It could be music even. Anything that we're doing now that used to motivate us now just kind of feels like it's demotivating us in a weird way. Yeah. So the Two of Pentacles anyway is your conscious interaction. You're putting a little bit of a wrench in your own spokes here in order to disturb a habit or a pattern or a routine. Okay. We're doing something differently now than the way we always done. The way we've been doing it anyway. But the Devil card underneath, okay, something needs to change because this Devil really needs to get back on the road. This is the engine of the car, yeah. This is the power, and having desires and having cravings are good. That's the engine, right? We're talking about the pleasure drive, and the pleasure drive, it used to be like, oh, I want to go and I want to accomplish my goal today because that's going to feel good because I'm going to get the reward at the end. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. Let me just remind everyone of that. It doesn't matter what your goals are. Maybe your goal is you want to be a YouTuber or a podcaster, you want to be an author, you want to be a musician, you want to be a business owner, you want to be a manager, an employee, you want to be an astronaut, right? It doesn't matter what your goals are. But the pleasure drive is saying, I want to wake up today and I want to work toward my goal because it feels good. That's the pleasure drive. That's one of our three. It's like we have a car that has 3 engines, okay? And right now we're talking about the pleasure drive engine. And so we get motivated by that. I wake up and I want to do the work because then afterwards I say I can have a bowl of ice cream when I'm done. Okay? And maybe it's the ice cream that's motivating me. Maybe you're lucky and what you're doing in and of itself feels good. You know, you want to be the astronaut. Okay, I'm an astronaut. So then everything that you do during the day, the training, the study, the drills, the whatever, I don't know what they do, a lot of stuff. But any of those more short-term, you know, tasks are in and of themselves very rewarding to you. Okay? So there could be a lot of stuff going on here with that Seven of Cups. Maybe you're thinking that like the tasks that you're doing aren't enjoyable on their own. So then you have to ask, well, are you aiming toward the right goal? Like, who are you trying to be? You know? Maybe you're just in a phase where your path isn't very enjoyable. And so we have that ice cream setup that says, okay, if I write, one page of my book today, then I'll reward myself with some television. Yeah. And that becomes the motivation to, okay, well, I want to get my chapter done, or I want to get my homework done, or I want to write this page of the book so I can relax and watch some television. That'll be my reward. Okay. Simple, yeah. But in practice, it gets very muddy, very complicated. But the desires themselves are very powerful. They're not the enemy. Okay? And this, I think, has just become too much too often. And now we feel like we're kind of hooked on that ice cream, and then maybe the ice cream, I want that ice cream so bad that I start just kind of phoning in my chapter of my book, or I just very quickly do the homework, or I just kind of half-ass the homework, and I have the ice cream, right? So something's gotten out of balance, and with that pleasure drive. And I think it's kind of demotivating us now, because it's either the quality of our work is going down, or we're just not motivated to do it, and then the quality goes down. And so, you know, if we say, for my example, when I was in school and I had to do my math homework, I'd say, okay, after I'm done with my math homework, then I get to watch my favorite TV show, which probably at the time was like Seinfeld or something, right? Or House MD. I love Hugh Laurie. Anyway, so I'm so excited to watch that show that I just want to hurry up and get the homework done. Yeah, good. Oh, you're motivated. Yeah, you're going at it. Yeah. But what if I do just a really poor job on the homework? What if I just guess? Okay, I'm done. Now I can watch my show. No, that's going to be an improper use of that reward system. Okay, that's not helping me to pass the class, which I did barely. But it was through realizing that, okay, I'm not going to allow myself to watch that show unless I do quality work. You know, it's not just about how fast I can get it done. Anyway. So this is that pleasure drive. And I think that there is too much of the wrong type of reward, and it seems like it's been dampening your sovereign drive and your creative drive. That creative drive is saying, I want to do quality work. I want to make a difference. I want to do good works out here in the world, you know. I want to create something. I want to generate something worthwhile and meaningful, you know, yeah. And then the sovereign drive, or the assertive drive, is just saying, like, I'm fired up, I'm motivated, I have energy, and I want to use my muscles, I want to burn some calories, you know. And so I think that the pleasure drive has gotten a little bit too heavy. Now the Three of Cups here is that kind of reward. It is that dopamine card. You know, it is that hit of pleasure and reward. It is that abundance, that emotional overflow. Okay, it's joy. It's celebration, and you're letting yourself have fun. You're letting yourself feel good. It doesn't feel good anymore. And we have to ask ourselves, why? What needs to change so that my goat here is properly motivated? That reward system has to fuel the fire, you know, and all of that, of course, has to be under the sovereignty of the creative drive, or under the guidance of the sovereign drive. So the Three of Cups, yeah, this was a period of time where it was working properly, that pleasure drive. And the work that you were doing either felt good, or you were rewarding yourself for the job well done, either in the short term on a daily basis, or let's say weekly or monthly or yearly or whatever it was. You had a system. Something, it was working, right? But now it's gotten out of whack. Okay, now there's a little bit of an imbalance there. Okay. And this is, sometimes this is a card that's saying like we're having fun without needing to be productive. But I think that this is kind of this is a misnomer, because this is reward after productivity. You know, this is saying that I'm celebrating a harvest, that I've done some work and now there's something to enjoy because of that work that I've done. But this is just pure joy. This is joy that in and of itself doesn't have to be productive. Okay, so it's kind of like you have to allow yourself to just fully feel that celebration, to say yes to that joy, right? To allow yourself to feel this. But this has to be anchored to something for you. I think it has to be anchored to whatever system, you know, you're trying to adhere to, or whatever plan you have in place. Okay, I don't want to say it has to be tied to the achievement of your goals or your tasks, but you know, the way that we're sort of framing this is that yes, it's you do your homework, you do a quality job, and then you get the reward after. Then you get to celebrate. Okay, and the thing is, with the Two of Pentacles too, it has to be in proportion to what you're doing. It's not like, okay, I finished one page of homework, now I get to take a vacation to Vegas or something, right? No. Maybe it's like, I've done my homework, or I worked, you know, let's say maybe it's a Pomodoro thing. I've done 25 minutes of really focused, high quality work. Now I get 5 minutes where I can just scroll my feed. Yeah. Okay, 5 minutes is up, 25 more minutes of very focused work. But it has to be in proportion, right, to the effort that you're putting in. It has to be a reasonable reward. Otherwise, we start to expect big Vegas vacations every time we tie our shoes or something. You know what I mean? And maybe that's kind of the problem now, is that the rewards have been getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but the efforts or the goals have been kind of staying the same. Yeah. In the future position, we have the Queen of Swords, objectivity. We need to be able to look at things. And I already feel right now like I'll probably take this video down. I don't feel like a lot of people are going to want to watch it, especially Aries, because I feel like we don't want to hear this, you know. But I think for a lot of you, you're wondering why you haven't been as motivated lately. And this is that objectivity that we need. We need to pull ourselves out of all of that water energy, right? That's what the Queen of Swords has done. She has risen up above the water. She's in the sky. So she's able to look down on all of this water and see it objectively. See, she's not immersed in this. When you're immersed in this, you're not going to be able to see the truth of it. But when you get that bird's eye view, then you can see what you're really looking at here, and you can understand kind of the mechanism that's at work and how to go about moving forward. Okay. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are free. It's really a great way to support the channel, and seeing that number go up is kind of my dopamine reward for doing the reading. Anyway, the Seven of Wands. It may be a very simple concept that I'm talking about, but it's not easy to do. So the Seven of Wands is like we've got to stand up. We've got to say, I've had enough and I'm not going to take it anymore. We've got to stand our ground. We've got to protect our energy. Because you have goals. You're a very motivated person, and you have goals and dreams and hopes and wishes and aspirations that you're trying to materialize. Okay? We've got to defend ourselves against that sort of that imbalance, right? It's a 7, a 7, a 7. 3 sevens. I think we've got some good luck on our side here. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy. You got to be courageous. You got to push through something that is very difficult right now. And we have to admit what needs to be admitted, say what needs to be said, and then we push and we struggle. And it may feel as if you're up against some overwhelming odds. It may feel like this is a David and Goliath kind of thing. And yeah, it might be. It's just the simple fact that we've got to force ourselves to do it even when, I'm not feeling motivated. It's like when I need to go to jiu-jitsu class. I'm not motivated to go do it. And I ask myself, why? It's obvious. I give myself everything I want. When I'm hungry, I eat. When I'm thirsty, I drink. When I'm tired, I sleep. When I want to watch TV, I watch TV. Not exactly that, but it's this idea that I don't have to do jiu-jitsu. I want to, I know I want to, and I know why I want to, which that brings up one point here for you. You don't have an ace of cups here. All this water, I wonder if we're feeling a little bit demotivated because we don't remember why we're trying to become the person we're trying to become. So if I'm thinking about my jiu-jitsu and I don't feel motivated to go to class, and I feel like it's kind of like I'm pushing against the odds here, forcing myself to go do it, why is that? Maybe I've lost sight of why I want to be a, martial artist to begin with. Why do I want to be that person? Why do I want to identify as somebody who knows jiu-jitsu? And if I reconnect with that, I can get some of that motivation back. But see, the pleasure drive in me is saying I've gotten too comfortable not doing jiu-jitsu. Feels better to just sit on the couch and watch my daughter do it. It feels better to just kick my feet up on the chair and have a snack while everybody else is doing jiu-jitsu, right? So I think that this card is saying that we're forcing ourselves to do it. We're pushing ourselves and we're just fighting through this period of kind of like demotivation. I think we really need to reconnect with that, the reason why we want to be that person. So what is your goal? And that's where we're moving next with our Knight of Pentacles, looking into the future. And you're looking into the long-term future and having that vision. Who are you? Where are you? And what are you doing down the road? What's the goal here? What's at the top of that mountain? You can't see the top of the mountain, can you? We have to be able to look and have that vision. Okay, there's Paul in the future. He's someone who does jiu-jitsu. Like he's a jiu-jitsu person. I can see my hair. I can see my belt, my gi. I'm doing jiu-jitsu. That's me. Why do I want to be that person? See, we can see the goal, I think. But maybe we can't see the reason why I care to be that person anymore. Okay? And I think we need that. Now, that Seven of Pentacles is what kind of flopped out on top of this card here. So I think maybe right now we're having trouble seeing the end result. And we're just seeing all the work and no play makes Paul a dull boy, right? We're seeing all the hardship, all the work, all the devotion, all the discipline, and no reward. That's terrible. I'm over here having snacks, and I'm thinking I don't want to do jujitsu because it's just going to be a lot of work and no reward. And I'm here eating some popcorn. I say that's terrible, And so that might be the problem here, is that this Seven of Pentacles is blocking our view of your future, of your 10 of Pentacles, right? Who are you? Where are you? What you're doing down the road? We can't see that now. All we see is the struggle and no payoff. And that's demotivating, right? It's demotivating. So in some sense, I see that Ace of Pentacles as, yes, like the next step, the very simple step we need to take to fix this. But I feel like this also is kind of representing the summit of the mountain. And when we look at the Knight of Pentacles, and you can see that he can't see the top of the mountain. So we need to reconnect with that vision of who we are in the future. Allow yourself to see who you're going to become staying on this path. And then reconnect with that question, why do you want to be that person? But with that 7 of Pentacles blocking your vision, it's like I can't even see myself at the goal yet. And not being able to see yourself at the goal is of itself demotivating. We need to see ourselves so we can identify with that person in the present tense. Say, I am Paul and I do jujitsu. Not, that's who I will be later. No, that's who I am now. Okay? And this is what a jujitsu person does. Does the hard work and then, and then is able to go take a hot shower or something. But if we can't see the summit, if we can't see the goal, then we're having a difficult time connecting with why I should even care about the path. And then we're just demotivated. All right? So taking all this stuff into account gives us our 5 of Wands here. Gives us our fight back. Gives us our ability to strive. And I know this is a card called strife. It's fight, right? But it's Saturn in Leo. It's your ability to regulate your effort and your exertion and your motivation. This is the 5-fingered hand that's reaching out for life now to reach for the goal, not reaching for the snacks, like me, You're reaching for the goal. And it could be competition, but this is friction, this is training, this is energy expenditure. This is saying, okay, I'm going to do the hard work, and then I'm going to get the reward. Maybe the hard work is going to be the reward. Maybe knowing that you're getting closer to your goal, that's a reward. Maybe the hot shower and the snacks afterward, that's the reward. If I work really, really hard this week, I'm going to go out to dinner this weekend with my family, If I make it through my colonoscopy, I'm going to have a nice meal, later in the day or something. So anyway, this is that fight. We're getting our energy back. We're getting that motivation, because the energy's there. The power is in the engine. The power is in the devil here, right? This is the engine of the car, right? Satan is your motor, right? Shout out to Cake. No religious connotations there in any way, okay? It's the engine. It's the power generator. The power is there in potential form, and now we're figuring out a way to get it back. Okay. Let's look at the mystery card. Maybe this is going to be the Ace of Cups. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Let's see. Well, it's the Death card. The Death card is change. The Death card is the slow, gradual change over the course of time. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen like that, right? It's a slow process. It took us a long time to get here. It's going to take us a long time to get out of here, too. So we just take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and start pushing back the excess rewards. No, I'm not talking basic needs here, right? Water, shelter, food. You got to sleep. You got to eat. You got to, you got to take care of yourself. But sometimes excess of anything is not healthy for us. So I'm not advocating scarcity. No way. Look at me. I don't advocate scarcity. But I'm advocating just awareness and intentional living so that we can continue pushing this thing down the field, pushing ourselves up the mountain toward the end zone, whatever you want to call it. Mixing my metaphors here. And it's going to be a process. It's an evolution, okay? I think, though, that you're ready to sort of shed this old skin and have a death and a rebirth, and you're going to wake up right now or wake up tomorrow morning and say, today's the day. The old me is gone. There's a new me today. And the new me behaves in a different way. Okay? This is a rebirth moment for you. Now we're going to do an extended reading as well. Please click on the link in the corner or the link in the video description. Aries, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.